Welcome to my channel. Today we're diving into a case that captured the hearts of millions but left many asking, how did we miss the warning signs? This is the story of Sara Sharif, a little girl whose tragic fate became a rallying cry for justice and child protection. But as you listen, I want you to think about this question. How many Saras are out there, unheard and unseen? Sara Sharif was only 10 years old when she was found dead in her family home in Woking, Surrey. A small, leafy town in the United Kingdom, Woking wasn't the type of place people associated with violent crime. It was peaceful, quiet, the kind of neighborhood where parents let their kids play outside without a second thought. But behind the walls of a simple, semi-detached house, something horrific was unfolding. Far away from the eyes of neighbors and even close relatives. Sara's short life was marked by family complexities. She was living with her father, Irfan Sharif, her stepmother, Vanish Batul, and her uncle, Faisal Malik. Her biological mother, Olga Sharif, had been separated from Irfan for several years. Although Olga tried to remain a presence in Sara's life, custody battles and cultural differences often got in the way. From the outside, the family appeared reserved. They mostly kept to themselves. Neighbors described the children as polite but unusually quiet. Sara, in particular, was remembered as a shy, soft-spoken child who rarely smiled. Teachers at her school noticed something too. Sara often came to school looking tired, withdrawn, and sometimes with bruises that were explained away with stories of clumsiness or minor accidents. Yet, nothing concrete was reported until it was too late. On August 10, 2023, a chilling 999 call was made from Pakistan. Irfan Sharif, Sara's father, calmly informed British authorities that Sara was dead. Just hours later, police arrived at the family home in Woking to find Sara's lifeless body under suspicious circumstances. The autopsy revealed multiple injuries to her torso and limbs, injuries sustained over a sustained period, pointing clearly to ongoing abuse. But here's where the story takes a darker turn. Irfan, Bainash, and Faisal were gone. Within 24 hours of Sara's death, the trio had boarded a flight to Pakistan, leaving behind Sara's body and a shattered community. Authorities launched an international manhunt, coordinating with Pakistani officials and Interpol. The world watched as the story unfolded, wondering how parents could abandon their child so coldly. As the media spotlight intensified, disturbing details about the family began to surface. Sara's biological mother told reporters that she had been fighting for custody for years. She shared heartbreaking accounts of Sara begging to come live with her, saying that she was scared of her father and stepmother, but her pleas went unheard. For weeks, Irfan and his accomplices evaded capture in Pakistan. Legal complexities made extradition difficult. Pakistan has historically been a challenging country from which to extradite suspects due to legal red tape and diplomatic negotiations. Yet, with mounting international pressure and public outrage, the Pakistani authorities finally arrested the trio after locating them in Jhelum, a rural city in Punjab province, where they had been hiding with relatives. Once extradited back to the UK, the case went to trial in late 2024. The prosecution painted a harrowing picture of Sara's final days. Testimonies revealed a home ruled by fear, where Sara was regularly subjected to physical punishment and emotional torment. Neighbors shared that they'd often heard loud arguments and Sara crying late into the night, but no one ever imagined the severity of what was happening. Then came the psychological profiles. Experts testified that Irfan Sharif exhibited classic traits of authoritarian parenting, strict, controlling, and dismissive of the child's emotional needs. Bainash Batul, Sara's stepmother, was described as emotionally detached, cold, and even complicit in the cycle of abuse. Faisal Malik, the uncle, was portrayed as the silent enabler. While he may not have inflicted direct physical harm, his failure to intervene made him equally responsible in the eyes of the law. During court proceedings, Sara's biological mother, Olga, broke down as she described the guilt she carried. "She called me crying the week before she died," Olga said through tears. "She wanted to come home, and I wasn't able to help her." On December 17, 2024, the verdict came in. Irfan and Vanish were both sentenced to life imprisonment for murder and child cruelty. Faisal Malik received a 16-year sentence for child neglect and covering up the abuse. But Sara's case did more than put her killers behind bars. It exposed deep-rooted flaws in the system meant to protect children. How was it that a child, known to social services and displaying multiple warning signs, could still slip through the cracks? This question haunted both the courtroom and the broader public discussion. In the aftermath, UK lawmakers faced intense scrutiny. Debates erupted over how to improve child protection services, mandatory reporting protocols, and early intervention strategies. Yet, for many, Sara became the face of a broader, systemic issue that transcends borders. Let's pause here because this is where we transition from heartbreak to action. What happened to Sara shouldn't happen to any child, and while no system is perfect, we can do better. So, let's talk about real-world actions you can take to protect vulnerable children in your community. First, recognize and report abuse early. Abuse doesn't always leave visible bruises. Emotional withdrawal, fear of going home, poor hygiene, or unexplained injuries should all set off alarms. Don't dismiss your instincts. Teachers, neighbors, friends, anyone can be the difference between life and death. Second, foster environments where children feel safe speaking up. Whether you're a parent, mentor, or community leader, children need to know they will be believed and supported. In Sara's case, her calls for help went unheard. Let's ensure no child's voice is drowned out by bureaucracy or hesitation. Third, advocate for stronger systems. This means better training for professionals working with children, tighter laws around child protection, and proper funding for social services. Demand accountability from your local and national governments. After all, protecting children isn't just a family responsibility, it's a societal one. Finally, practice community vigilance. Sometimes neighbors or teachers notice warning signs but hesitate, fearing they might be wrong or get someone in trouble. But silence enables abuse. Always err on the side of caution. Make that call. File that report. Before we end, I want to leave you with this. Sara Sharif should still be here today. Her story is a tragic reminder that behind many closed doors, children may be suffering in silence. It is our duty, as individuals, as communities, and as societies, to be that voice that speaks up. Sara's story is not just one of personal tragedy. It's a failure of systems, family, social services, community awareness. The signs were there. People noticed things. But for reasons ranging from fear to bureaucratic delays, no one intervened in time. Abusers are not always strangers. They're often people close to the victim. In Sara's case, it was the very people entrusted with her care. That's why it's so important to recognize the signs. Communication is key. Children need to feel safe to speak up. And when they do, we need to take their words seriously. Too often, children are dismissed or disbelieved. Let's create environments, at home, in schools, in communities, where children know they are heard and protected. We must hold systems accountable. Social services, schools, and law enforcement need better resources and training to act decisively when warning signs appear. In Sara's case, multiple agencies had some awareness of the risks, but no one connected the dots in time. That failure cost a life. Lastly, we all have a role to play. If you suspect abuse, speak up, report it. Don't wait for someone else to act. You could be the one who saves a child from suffering in silence. Sarah's death is a tragedy that should never have happened. But by sharing her story, we honor her memory and, hopefully, protect other children from a similar fate. So I'll ask you again, how many Sarahs are out there, still waiting for someone to notice, someone to care, someone to act? Let's not wait for another tragedy. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, and I'm sure it did, please subscribe. Help spread awareness. Together, we can make our communities safer and ensure that no child suffers in silence again.